Before you drop $90,000 on that shiny Range Rover Sport, ask yourself this: can you really afford the truth? One of the most luxurious SUVs on the planet is also one of the most expensive vehicles to own long after the dealership handshake. From secret software lockouts, air suspension failures, and sudden power loss at highway speeds, to depreciation so brutal it'll leave you questioning your life choices. We analyzed thousands of owner complaints, mechanical reports, dealership repair invoices, and real-world case studies to expose what no influencer or salesman wants you to know. Stick around till the end, because the worst model year might still be on sale right now, and people are walking right into it. They don't sell you a car. They sell you a feeling: power, presence, prestige. From the moment you see it in the showroom, the Range Rover Sport whispers luxury in a way few vehicles ever can. The contrast-stitched leather, the aluminum trim, the soft purr of the V8, every detail screams, "You've made it. Step inside." You're not just in an SUV, you're in a private lounge on wheels. Start the engine? It doesn't roar. It exhales. Controlled, refined, understated confidence. They're not pitching specs. They're selling status, an identity upgrade, a moving fortress with mood lighting and massaging seats. It's easy to believe it's worth every penny. After all, you're not buying a car, you're buying the range. But let's pause here, because this dream, it's precisely why so many people walk into the dealership confident and drive out completely unaware of what's waiting down the road. And what's waiting isn't just routine maintenance. It's a cascade of hidden costs and mechanical nightmares few owners see coming. Let's talk about the trap. When you drive a Range Rover Sport for the first time, it's intoxicating. The ride height gives you a sense of command. The sound insulation? Unreal. You float over potholes like they're suggestions. The infotainment system is sleek. The ambient lighting feels cinematic. It's everything your Camry isn't, and that's the danger. Because for a moment, you forget what kind of car you're really in. You're in a luxury performance SUV built by a company with a shaky reliability history. But marketing doesn't mention that. What they do mention is the racing DNA, the off-road legacy, the British craftsmanship, and here's the psychological twist. Most buyers don't even test drive the Range Rover Sport to its limits. They don't tow. They don't climb hills. They don't launch it at a track day. They cruise to restaurants, to events, to Instagram. It looks like a vehicle that can do anything. But few ask, what happens when you actually try? Because underneath the elegant design lies a platform with dozens of interconnected electronic systems, complex suspension, and precision parts that need constant attention. And once something breaks, you'll quickly realize this isn't a Toyota or a Ford. This is a Range Rover, and every part is priced like a Rolex clasp. And the problems? They don't show up one by one. They show up in clusters. But we'll get there. Back to the dream. Let's say you've got the money. You lease it. $1,500 a month? No problem. Until your rear view camera stops working, until the air suspension sags overnight, until your 4-month-old SUV enters limp mode on a rainy freeway. That's when the dream begins to fracture. Because while the experience is second to none, so is the stress of keeping it alive. And the worst part? Most people who buy a Range Rover Sport don't talk about these things. They're too embarrassed, too invested, too proud. So the dream keeps selling. But now you know, the brochure is beautiful. The reality? Let's just say, you better watch the next chapter. Because what breaks first on a Range Rover Sport might be the one thing keeping your family safe. You paid for performance. You paid for luxury. You paid for peace of mind. But what you really bought was complexity. And when it comes to the Range Rover Sport, that complexity, it's exactly what breaks you. Let's start with the air suspension system. Arguably one of the signature features of the Range Rover experience. The way it glides over rough terrain, the way it adjusts ride height automatically, the way it makes every bump disappear until it doesn't. Because when it fails, and it will fail, you don't get a soft bounce. You get a vehicle that slams itself to the ground, sagging like a deflated balloon, with tires jammed into the wheel arches. And the kicker? It often happens overnight. You wake up, walk to your car, and it looks like it's kneeling in defeat. A full air suspension replacement can run you anywhere between $3,500 and $6,000. And that's if it's just one axle. But the suspension's only the beginning. Now let's talk about electrical gremlins, because the Range Rover Sport doesn't just have a computer, it has an entire network of computers, touchscreens, digital climate controls, drive mode selectors, auto-deploying door handles, cameras, sensors, alerts, voice controls. It's luxury until it becomes glitchware. One day your backup camera might freeze, another day your GPS sends you into a river, and sometimes your entire center screen goes black. Mid-drive, no audio, no climate, no parking sensors, no warning. Owners report systems randomly rebooting while on the freeway. Warnings like cruise control unavailable, flashing without reason, ghost alerts for tire pressure, and my personal favorite, electrical system fault. Contact dealer immediately. While the car still drives completely normal, except it's not normal. It's a ticking time bomb of over-engineering. And we haven't even touched the drivetrain yet. That's where things really start hurting. Let's talk about the 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. It's smooth, it's fast, and when it's working, it feels like silk. But when it misfires, limp mode, jerky shifts, a sudden drop in power that makes overtaking on the highway feel like a death wish. And worst of all, the warning is vague. Sometimes it says, transmission fault detected. Other times, nothing. Just a feeling that your 400 horsepower monster now has the acceleration of a lawnmower. What causes it? Could be a sensor, could be the TCU, could be overheating, could be nothing you can find until it happens again. Let's go deeper. Turbochargers on the sport models, especially the diesel variants, are known to develop wastegate issues, loud whining noises, delayed boost, black smoke under load. Fixing it? Another few $1,000s. But here's the truth no one tells you. These systems aren't failing because they're weak. They're failing because they're complicated. They rely on layers of tech, software, and fine-tuned engineering. And when just one thing goes wrong, the whole system spirals. Let's do a quick run-through of the most commonly reported issues. Faulty oxygen sensors, crankshaft position errors, high-pressure fuel pump failures, in-control touch, pro-freezing air compressor leaks, rain sensor malfunction, electronic differential lock errors, sunroof motor failures, random battery drains, keyless entry ghost unlocks. Yes, ghost unlocks. Owners have reported coming back to their locked vehicle only to find the doors slightly open. No theft, no signs of entry, just software gone rogue. And when you visit the dealer, they smile, they reset it, they charge you, and send you on your way, until the next warning light. You see, the Range Rover Sport isn't just a car, it's a relationship, one that requires constant attention, money, and patience. You don't own it, you manage it. And if you miss a service interval, if you take it to the wrong shop, if you let one problem slide, it snowballs. Fast. You're now 2 sensors deep into a diagnostic mystery, thousands down the rabbit hole, and worse. Still in love with how it looks. That's what makes it dangerous. Because when something this beautiful fails, you don't get mad. You make excuses. You rationalize the red flags until your bank account starts waving a white one. And we're still just scratching the surface. Because what really sends owners over the edge is what happens after the systems break and they try to sell it. In the next chapter, we'll show you how Range Rover depreciation isn't just bad, it's devastating. It's one thing to talk about technical failures. It's another thing to hear what it actually feels like when it happens to you. To hear the real voices of real people who thought they were buying a dream, but ended up trapped in a nightmare. Let's get into the stories they wish someone had told them before they signed the papers. Case number 1. The $17,200 service bill. A man from Florida buys a 2020 Range Rover Sport HSE, Certified pre-owned, low miles, one previous owner, perfect service records. He's ecstatic. 3 months in, a suspension fault warning appears. Then, reduced performance mode. Then, engine misfire. He takes it in. Guess what? The compressor for the air suspension? Gone. The hybrid battery? Needs diagnostics. One turbocharger? Failing. The infotainment system? Dead. Oh, and a leaking water pump. Total cost of repairs, out of warranty, $17,200. His dealer offered a 20% discount. He took it and sold the car the next month. His final words? I paid for the badge. I didn't know I was signing up for a second mortgage. Case number 2, sudden engine death on the highway. A 2017 Range Rover Sport SVR, supercharged. 3 hours. Performance model. It was supposed to be a beast, and it was, until the coolant system failed during a weekend road trip. Engine temperature spiked, but the sensor never triggered. By the time he pulled over, it was too late. Warped block, engine seized, insurance wouldn't cover it, and the extended warranty denied the claim due to a pre-existing condition. Cost of a new engine? Over $28,000. He ended up junking the vehicle. This is a car that cost over $100,000 when new. Gone. Case number 3, the ghost in the software. A 2022 Range Rover Sport SE, brand new, just 5,800 miles. Owner reports bizarre behavior. The screen blacks out randomly while driving. Reverse camera freezes. Doors unlock by themselves. Bluetooth connects to a phone that isn't even there. She calls the dealer. They say, it's just a software patch. We'll update it. They do. 3 weeks later, same thing. They reinstall the firmware, then swap out the control module, then replace the entire infotainment system. She was without her car for 47 days, and when she asked for a courtesy vehicle, they gave her a base model sedan. She now refers to her Range Rover Sport as the world's most expensive screensaver. Case number 4, limp mode lottery. Imagine this. You're driving your family to the airport, luggage packed, kids in the back. You accelerate to merge onto the freeway, and suddenly the car drops power. Warning light. Gearbox fault, limited performance. You push the gas, nothing. No acceleration, no downshift, no explanation. You're stuck doing 35 miles per hour in the slow lane on a 70-mile-per-hour highway. This isn't rare. Limp mode is infamous in Range Rover forms. Sometimes it's a bad throttle sensor. Other times it's an electrical fault. But every time, it's dangerous. You don't expect a luxury SUV to feel like it's about to stall in traffic. Yet here we are. Case number 5, death by depreciation. A business owner buys a 2019 Range Rover Sport autobiography, loaded, every option. Sticker price, $112,000. 3 years later, he goes to trade it in. No major issues, clean car. Guess what the dealer offers him? $38,000. He thinks it's a mistake, so he checks Carvana. They offer $35,600. He still owed $41,000 on the loan. Do the math. He had to pay $5,400 just to get rid of it. These stories aren't exceptions. They're patterns. They're symptoms of a bigger truth. The Range Rover Sport looks like a dream, drives like a dream, feels like a dream. But when it turns on you, it turns fast, and it turns expensive. And here's the final twist. Most owners don't talk about these issues publicly. They post the photos, the vacations, the luxury interiors. But behind the scenes, they're on forums, on Reddit, in service bays, trying to figure out what went wrong. And the ones who do speak up get dismissed. You probably got a bad unit. You didn't maintain it properly. You should have bought the warranty. But the truth is, the system itself is fragile. The badge is iconic. But the stories behind the badge are starting to sound like a warning. Now let's talk about the depreciation cliff most buyers have no idea they're about to fall off. You think the car is the problem? Wait until you try to resell it. You'd think by now, after years of recalls, complaints, and memes, Land Rover would have cracked the code. And on paper, they did. In 2023, they launched the completely redesigned Range Rover Sport. New platform, new interior, new hybrid and plug-in hybrid options, new software suite, new promise. It was supposed to be the fix. The answer? The rebirth, except it wasn't. Because even with all the upgrades, all the tech, all the hype, the same ghosts are still haunting the machine. Let's break it down. The software glitches, again. Land Rover launched their all-new Pivi Pro infotainment system with confidence. Faster load times, better graphics, improved responsiveness. But what did early owners get? Systems that freeze mid-drive rear cameras, that refuse to load GPS, that reboots randomly Apple CarPlay, that disconnects when you turn the steering wheel. Yes, you heard that right. A luxury SUV that can't keep your phone connected during a basic left turn. Multiple users on RangeRovers.net and Reddit reported a bug where the vehicle forgets paired devices entirely after a software update. Others couldn't change drive modes because the screen locked up. And one reviewer, testing the $125,000 Range Rover Autobiography, said, "It crashed twice before I left my driveway." Electronic features failing out of the gate. Now let's talk about the advanced tech, because it's everywhere in the new models. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, autonomous parking, 360-degree cameras, heated, cooled, massaging memory seats with 22 settings. It's incredible when it works. But here's what's actually happening. Adaptive cruise shutting off without warning, lane assist yanking the wheel in the wrong direction, massaging seats that don't massage, auto high beams stuck on ambient lights flickering like a haunted house. One 2023 owner described it best. It's like owning a spaceship built by interns. The new plug-in. Hybrids, great idea, bad execution. With emissions regulations tightening, Land Rover introduced plug-in hybrid versions of the Sport. Great idea, extra torque, reduced emissions, electric vehicle-only mode for short trips. Except the problem started almost immediately. The battery cooling system fails in hot climates. The electric range rarely hits the advertised 51 miles. Charge times vary wildly depending on charger brand. And worst of all, software misreads the battery level, leading to power cuts under acceleration. Imagine trying to pass a truck, and your car hesitates because it thinks your battery is full, when it's not. That's not just inconvenient, that's dangerous. Interior quality still inconsistent. Yes, the new Range Rover Sport looks gorgeous inside. Floating screen, open-pore wood, anodized aluminum, woven leather, minimalist design. But dig a little deeper. Panels don't always align, plastic trim creaks when pressed. Cup holders rattle, door cards peel in high heat, switchgear that looks premium, but feels like a toy. This is a six-figure SUV, but parts of it still behave like they were designed by a committee that ran out of budget. New tech, old problems, same service experience. Here's what hurts most. When something goes wrong on the 2023 Plus models, you'd expect the dealership experience to be world-class. It's not. Appointments can take 2 to 4 weeks. Parts may be back-ordered for months. Loaners, sometimes unavailable. And when they are, you're often given a compact Jaguar sedan. Worse yet, some owners report that service techs don't even know how to troubleshoot the new systems yet. We saw reports of dealers reflashing software 4 times just to fix a single glitch. Others are still waiting for permanent fixes via OTA, over-the-air updates that never come. The brand response, corporate denial. So what does Land Rover say? They acknowledge minor teething issues. They promise patches. They urge customers to be patient. But when you spend $100,000 plus on a vehicle, should you really be beta testing it? Should you be the one waiting for software updates? Logging bugs, driving with warnings, flashing on a brand new dash? That's not luxury. That's Silicon Valley dressed in suede. The bigger problem. You see, this isn't just about a few glitches. This is about patterns. Land Rover makes gorgeous vehicles. They know how to sell a feeling. But year after year, model after model, they release vehicles that are rushed, fragile, and unfinished. And while the 2023 Plus Range Rover Sport is absolutely stunning, it's still not immune. Not from bugs, not from breakdowns, not from buyer regret. Next up, we tackle the hidden cost most owners never calculate until it's too late: depreciation. Because if you think buying a Range Rover Sport is expensive, try reselling one. You survived the service bills. You fixed the suspension. You updated the software. You made peace with the quirks. But now you're ready to move on. You want to trade in your Range Rover Sport, maybe upgrade to something newer, maybe downsize, maybe just escape. And that's when you get hit by the final sucker punch: depreciation, the silent killer. Because for all the talk about repairs, electronics, and performance, the biggest loss Range Rover owners experience is the one that no warning light ever tells you about. The brutal truth: numbers don't lie. Let's break down the math. A 2021 Range Rover Sport HSE Dynamic. Sticker price $91,000. 3 years later, trade-in value $43,000. That's a $48,000 loss. In 36 months, that's over $1,300 per month in value just evaporating. And that's before you factor in maintenance, repairs, insurance, loan, interest, fuel. If you bought it new, you paid premium for something that depreciated faster than a tech startup in a recession. It's worse than BMW, worse than Mercedes. You expect luxury cars to drop in value, but Range Rover Sports, they fall like a rock off a cliff. Let's compare. A 2020 BMW X5 M50 I retains about 56% of its value after 3 years. A Mercedes-Benz GLE 580, around 58%. A Range Rover Sport Supercharged, just 46%. And if yours has any service records showing major issues, or is out of warranty, or has glitchy electronics, that number drops even further. Buyers are wary, dealers are cautious, and online valuation tools, they've caught on. The private sale trap. You think, I'll just sell it privately, get more money that way. Not so fast. Buyers are doing their research. Forums are flooded with horror stories. And when they see Range Rover Sport in your ad, they assume one thing: it must be broken. That's why you're selling it. Expect lowball offers weeks without interest, pre-purchase inspections that uncover issues you didn't even know about, and people walking away after one test drive when the screen freezes even worse. You might have to pay out of pocket just to settle the loan, because the car is worth less than what you owe. Down arrow leasing? It's not much better. Okay, maybe you lease. Problem solved, right? Sort of. Because leasing a Range Rover Sport often comes with high monthly payments, usually $1,200 to $1,800, huge down payments, low mileage caps. And if you exceed that cap, you'll be hit with 30 cents to 50 cents per extra mile. And remember, you're paying all that for a vehicle you don't even own, a vehicle that's still vulnerable to the same issues we've already talked about. And when you return it, expect wear and tear charges, even for issues you had nothing to do with. Insurance, plus perception, penalty. Even insurance companies know. They've read the data. Range Rover Sport premiums are consistently higher than BMW, Audi, and Lexus. Why? Because when things go wrong, they cost more to fix. More labor, more parts, more downtime, and they lose value faster than most insurers can calculate. Some even decline full coverage past 6 years or charge astronomical premiums. And here's the real kicker. Even when it's running perfectly, even when it's clean and detailed, the market still assumes one thing: it's a liability. The luxury illusion. Here's the trap. You see a used Range Rover Sport for $39,000. You think, that's a steal. It's $90,000 brand new. But what you don't realize is that $50,000 already went up in smoke, and now you're holding the next match. Because depreciation doesn't stop just because it's used. It continues until that SUV is worth less than a Corolla. And when it breaks, That discounted price won't feel so affordable anymore. A cycle you don't escape. Let's say you do sell it. Take the hit. Buy something else. Guess what? You're now part of a very expensive cycle. Buying high, selling low, bleeding cash, while dealers smile. And in hindsight, what hurts most is not just the money. It's the feeling that you were never told, that no one warned you until now. In the next chapter, we'll ask the question every smart buyer should consider. Should you ever buy a Range Rover Sport at all? We'll tell you when it might make sense and when to run far, far away. By now, you're probably thinking, why would anyone still buy a Range Rover Sport? And that's a fair question, because on the surface, it seems like a money pit, a beautiful, seductive, luxury-shaped trap. But here's the thing. The answer isn't black and white, because under the right circumstances, for the right type of buyer, the Range Rover Sport can still make sense. Let's break it down. Reasons you should not buy one. Let's start with the obvious. If you're looking for a reliable daily driver, a family SUV with low stress, predictable repair costs, easy resale, long-term ownership value, then no. You should not buy a Range Rover Sport. This SUV was not designed with cost efficiency in mind. It was designed for prestige, presence, and yes, ego. If you're the kind of person who panics at a $1,200 service bill, or who needs a car that just works for 10 years straight, this is not for you. Because ownership isn't passive with a Range Rover Sport. It's active management. You don't just own this vehicle, you maintain a relationship with it. One that includes unexpected faults, long service visits, and, yes, expensive surprises. Who should buy one? So, who is it for? It's for the person who knows exactly what they're signing up for, who understands the risk and can absorb the cost. It's for high-income earners who lease for a few years, then swap, enthusiasts who appreciate the design and can do some maintenance themselves, drivers who value style and presence above all else, weekend cruisers who won't rack up mileage or beat the car up daily, people who budget repairs as part of the experience, like exotic car owners do. If that's you, then yes, go ahead. Just don't go in with wide eyes and dealership dreams. Go in informed how to buy one without regret. If you're going to do it, here's how to play smart. Buy certified pre-owned, a dealer-backed CPO warranty as your safety net. It won't stop issues from happening, but it'll soften the financial blow. Get an extended warranty, a good one. Third-party coverage is a must, but research the company. Some deny claims left and right. Run a full diagnostic before purchase, scan for codes. Check service records. Inspect suspension, electronics, infotainment, drivetrain, everything. Avoid the risky model. Years stay far away from 2014 to 2018. These were peak years for electrical faults, suspension issues, and depreciation cliffs. Don't buy on emotion. This isn't a spur-of-the-moment vehicle. It's a lifestyle commitment, so treat it like one. Don't daily drive it if you don't have to use it sparingly. Enjoy it, let it shine, but don't expect it to handle the wear and tear of constant daily use without drama. The uncomfortable truth, and a lot of buyers end up falling in love with the Range Rover Sport for the wrong reasons. The way it looks, the way it makes them feel, the statement it sends when they pull into a driveway or valet stand. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because cars aren't emotions, they're machines. Machines that break, machines that depreciate, machines that don't care about your ego. So if you fall for the image and ignore the reality, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. The alternatives, if you still want luxury. If you're after luxury without the anxiety, here's what you should consider. Lexus LX or GX, timeless, reliable, still prestige. BMW X5, M50i, sporty, modern, more dependable. Audi Q7 Prestige, clean design, great interior, balanced. Mercedes-Benz GLE 450, luxurious without the constant drama. And if you want the look of a Range Rover without the price, try a Volvo XC90 Recharge. Stunning interior, Scandinavian style, half the headaches. The final question, so should you buy a Range Rover Sport? Only if you're ready. Ready for the risks, ready for the bills, ready for the relationship. Because this isn't just about luxury, it's about commitment. And in this relationship, it's you who loves more. It's you who works harder. It's you who pays. Just make sure it's worth it. In the final chapter, we'll leave you with a warning, not just about the Range Rover Sport, but about luxury car buying in general. Looks can kill, and sometimes what looks like success is really just stress in disguise. Your cash, ask yourself one question. Can you handle the truth about owning one? Because in the world of luxury SUVs, looks can kill your wallet. Subscribe for more brutally honest car breakdowns. Hit like if you learned something new, and click here for our deep dive into the most expensive cars to maintain after 50,000 miles. It might just save you thousands.